Cody.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to start us previewing this matchup. I know you had a question as to what quarterback we prefer between Sam and Gino, and we can start with that, or we can, I feel like one of the more interesting matchups going into this Sunday is DK Metcalf versus Jaycee Horn, and Jaycee Horn is having a breakout year, man. I know a lot of us were concerned about him maybe having some injury issues, but he is a shutdown corner. And I'm interested to see how we deploy Jaycee Horn against DK Metcalf in the battle of their offense versus this Panthers defense. Geno Smith is having a fantastic year for the Seattle Seahawks, much better than Russell Wilson. So, I just I feel like this is one of those bigger tests for Jaycee Horn on the schedule because DK Metcalf is a freak athlete, 6'4", runs a 3.5, or a 4.35. The dude is just a monster. So, uh, what are we expecting from this matchup and just in general from the Seattle Seahawks?
Go
Has
ahead, guys.
J.C. Horn faced anybody this year with that kind of size? Any number one wide receiver? I'm trying to think of the big guys.
Who's has been his toughest matchup this year?
Did he? I mean, would you say that they faced Mike Evans and Chris Godwin's? I mean, I know they're not playing like extremely well this year, but
Was he in
Well, no,
that
I'm
game?
asking. I wasn't sure. I don't know what the big
I
guys
wonder
are.
if
You're
he
right.
was
Mike
even
Evans
playing
won.
in that Tampa game.
Hmm.
So
Good
check it
quick.
out.
Who's
This
the
is
best guy matchup
I
he's in?
actually just found it. The
Oh
J.C.
wow.
Horn. This is his numbers against the best receivers that he's played this year. Amari Cooper, only 21 yards allowed, 2 receptions. Sterling Shepard, Michael Thomas, Marquise Brown, Debo Samuel, Drake London, T. Higgins, Olamide Zacchaeus, and Devin Duvernay. And so far, he's absolutely been shutting it down, man. So, hey, you know me, I'm going with my guy J.C. Horn. I feel like DK Metcalf is their primary passing attack weapon, at least downfield. Uh, and I think Horn should be able to lock this man up. I think this is going to be where our defense lives and dies is J.C. Horn's ability to protect that side of the field and stop Metcalf from going off.
I love G baby. I can hear him saying. I can hear his voice saying
I
it
don't
right
even want to
now.
hear that from G Baby because he thinks that Dante Jackson is better than J.C. Horn. Get that lame shit the fuck out of here,
Who's the
man.
I love
best
Dante
player
Jackson.
since he said this? Because in some ways he's kind of right. It's like them receivers ain't shit.
Amari
But
Cooper's not shit.
who's the
Shepard's not
biggest? All
shit.
right, who's the most
Debo
impressive
Samuel.
get stop on this list for you? Number one.
Probably Debo. If you had from all the playing this year and all the
Okay.
players you just listed,
He ain't been that good this year though, has he? He hasn't done a lot this year.
he wasn't. He's not been a top 5 receiver, or top
He
3
wasn't,
receiver like he was last year. But he's still top 10. I think.
Wonder what
I
I
don't know.
would
I
stats
really haven't
are.
looked
say,
at stats. I haven't paid that much attention.
knowing that Jamar Chase was out when we played the Bengals, I might even say T. Higgins. T. Higgins is a beast, man. Ask me how I
Um.
know. I have him in fantasy.
Okay. You're right. Yeah, 50 catches, 569 yards, 2 touchdowns. Is what he's got. I mean, not like great, not bad for Debo. I was thinking this. I was thinking Marquise Brown if he wasn't hurt at the time. If he was fully healthy, because like Kyler loves him. It's interesting. Our defenses played great against. You know what? You probably got to. How did they score Brazil? Oh, it was Joe Mixon. That's right. Like,
Yeah.
how did T. Higgins only have 18
Wait, that
yards and
number
they
doesn't
score
make
8
sense.
million points against us?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean that. Yeah,
Um.
they ran the
Makes it
ball
careless.
up and down our throats. But you had the question that you wanted to ask
Oh,
before the
well,
show.
before we get to that,
Yeah.
real quick, is one other thing about this game I thought was an interesting. First is the Kenneth Walker, the third, the running back for the Seahawks, who's been killing it this year. He has suffered an ankle injury in the past game. They believe he could be an option this week going forward, but that might be a good thing for the Carolina Panthers. And one of the things, though, that's interesting about this game was Steve Wilkes was asked about it going forward, and what he thought, I guess, if the Panthers had a chance to make the playoffs was what he was asked. And kind of in this last press conference where he was talking about Baker being released. And I'm going to paraphrase it because I didn't grab the clip. But he said, of course, I think we can make the playoffs, like as in I believe my team, we can win and this stuff like this. But he said, I'm only worried about this week or one game at a time, without saying the cliche one guy. He just said whatever he said. And then he goes, we have yet to beat a team on the road. And we go into a place for a team who's in the lead or in the hunt for their division. They're a real playoff contending team. And kind of like if you want to be one, you got to beat one. And like is like he was saying, yeah, I believe we could be a playoff team, but if we are going to be that, this is the type of game we need to go win. So I thought that was an interesting way of kind of drawing some parallels between the Panthers' chase for a playoff perspective and a team that we think in the Seahawks is playoff bound, sort of, and who has kind of more earned their bones this year in that discussion. And that would be a notable kind of notch on the belt for Steve Wilkes and this Carolina Panthers if they can go into a hostile Seattle team. It's kind of been hot and take care of business for the first time on the road.
And we're going to see seeing who Steve Wilkes is off of a bye, what kind of momentum this team has, if it lost any, with anybody, with everybody kind of being on vacation. It's really going to say a lot about our team. And we're traveling to the West Coast. We're going to be in a 4:25 time slot. There's a lot to know, man. Like, we're going to really see what kind of fight this team has going down the stretch. And that we kind of faced a setback last night with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beating out the New Orleans Saints. That's never a good thing because we needed the Saints to win. But, I mean, we're still only like 2 games out of first place. So every single one of these football games matter. We cannot take our foot off the gas right now.
Let me ask you this, CK, is Carolina Panthers, not only are they kind of on that parallel course, I guess, or at least the 6 degrees of separation that Wilkes is talking about with this kind of team from the Seattle Seahawks. The Carolina Panthers are going to need a quarterback next year to start the season, whether they draft a quarterback, whether they want to give Matt Corral a chance or what they would think.
Right.
But it seems like logistically they have to have some sort of veteran presence that at least could start day one. Sam Darnold is coming in here as Baker Mayfield's been released and vying potentially for that opportunity to be a bridge quarterback for the second time for the Carolina Panthers, which was the funny part about that. But Geno Smith is out there slaying it this season with like a 77% completion yard, having a great season and making a case for a veteran presence. Who would you rather have next year as that guy, Geno or Sam Darnold or the field?
Geno is the prime example of a guy who was never given the right shot, right? Like a guy who went to a really horrible situation. They never did anything to make his situation better, and he was constantly the guy who was blamed for it. And it just so happens to be the Jets. So, at the end of the day, I'm not of the mind that Sam Darnold can't be like Geno Smith in that way. if given an actual true opportunity, the dude can come out here and actually do some great things. Geno Smith is, if anything, Geno Smith is the poster child for what we did, what we were trying to do with Sam and Baker. And unfortunately, we just didn't really do what we were supposed to do there. We did not give him an offensive line to help him thrive. We did not give him the weapons to help him thrive. We had an injured Christian McCaffrey, who our entire offense was based around, right? Like it's not something that was conducive for progress for a guy who's you're trying to build his confidence up. So that's a really tough question. I don't want him to come in here and be a starter, but I would not mind having him as a backup.
Yeah. He's having a really good year, but when it comes down to it, he's a Jacoby Brissett. He's a Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's a Nick Foles. He's an Alex Smith. He's a journeyman quarterback, a guy that can give you what you need and have hot streaks, but is never going to be one of the best in the NFL. You know, he's playing talented this year, but he's played for a long time. Now, maybe this does work out for him in Seattle, and maybe he does end up taking that next step, and you always can. But as of right now, he's that guy. He's that journeyman quarterback that, yeah, I wouldn't mind having him on my team rather than the field. You know, I mean, depending on how Baker plays, not Baker, how Sam plays throughout this year, I couldn't answer whether I'd rather have Sam or Geno, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. That's the hard part.
He can finish the year out strong. Sam's in the same situation. He finally has a good offensive line.
You give Sam a DK Metcalf, a Tyler Lockett, and a Kenneth Walker on top of having a decent offensive line. I mean, what else could you ask for? Like, if you're a quarterback, you literally went into a jackpot situation.
Yeah.
Cody, is Sam Darnold in 7 years, is he just going to be white Geno Smith?
I don't know.
Are they the same person? Just in different iterations. Think about this: is a guy who started with the Jets, had zero opportunity, or or had a tough situation, was asked to do a lot, pressured, without talent, then meandered around the league. Actually played for the Jets. He had 2 years where he played for them and actually started games. 2015, 16, 17 as a backup, goes to the Chargers and has no games started, but only 5 games on the roster. I thought he was with the Giants. Yeah, he went 3. He started 1 game for the Giants and ended Eli Manning's starting streak. And that also, how about this? Another 7 degree or 6 degrees or whatever the saying is of separation. Do you remember who the coach was that sat Eli Manning and ended his streak and went with Geno Smith?
Ben McAdoo.
Ben McAdoo, that's right. I'm gonna put in Darnold. I want to see this. Is well, who would you take? Who would you rather have? All right. So the one thing I worry about this with Geno is I feel like it's just gonna be getting another Teddy Bridgewater, right? And
Teddy keeps
that
adding to that
is
list, yeah.
overpaying.
Yeah.
I would say overpaying is, look, is this. This is what his season stats are. Listen to his season stats this year. They are 7-5. No one saw the Seattle Seahawks coming out like that. 7-5. Teams playing well all together, largely because of Geno. 72.5% completion rate. 3,106. He's got 3,169 yards. He's yards per attempt is 8.1. So he's not just dinking and dunking this sucker. 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. My worry about this is that it's not a worry, is that like Geno's having the year where if he goes and signs, if he re-signs with the Seahawks, if he signs with us or whoever, he's going to command at least a 1-year deal at close to legit starting money at the very minute, and so he's not going to come cheap. In a sense, right? I mean, you don't make the mistake of a multi-year deal like you did with Teddy Bridgewater, but still, he's going to definitely get $22 million for a 1-year deal. My thing is that does he regress towards the mean of that if his career completion percentage is 62%, he really hasn't played a ton. He played 2 years with the Jets, and then he played this year with the Seahawks, and the other has just been filler games, right? So is his completion percentage somewhere more closer to 64, 65 maybe percent? Still got a pretty good completion rate for his whole career.
Yeah.
He has 56 touchdowns career to 43 interceptions. So are you really, you're not, I mean, it's going to be hard for you to get Geno that you're getting this year.
Right.
Like for him to replicate this year would be like,
I don't think, I mean, based on what he's doing now, I don't think he's getting out of Seattle.
yeah,
Agree.
that's a good point.
And unless they have a crazy offer come their way or some kind of draft pick that falls in their lap, I have no reason to believe why they would get rid of him either.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, beyond not getting along with people, I don't know why Russell Wilson would even want to leave there. Like I said, look at the talent they have there. It's crazy. I don't know.
Who?
Seattle. They've got great
you
great
said
wide
Russell
receivers.
Wilson. You mean
Yeah, Russell
Geno.
Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard the Seahawks had a shitty run defense though.
They have one of the worst in the NFL.
That's good for us, right?
That is
Yeah.
good for us.
And by the way, we're talking about Geno Smith and Sam Darnold. Geno Smith, like what CK said, this has been the first year that, like, and he's been through some bumps and bruises, but he's grown, he's matured as a quarterback, and he got a legitimate chance this year.
Mhm.
And I would like and hope to assume that Sam Darnold has also grown and matured as a person and as a quarterback. And, this might be that opportunity for him to do it. I mean, listen, we have ranted and raved all year that this is finally the offensive line that we've been dreaming of. We can run the football and we can pass protect. And we know what Sam Darnold was able to do for 3 games last year with, a similar kind of dynamic. Granted, that fell off a cliff. But also, especially right now, you're asking for a much smaller sample size from Sam. He has to be good the next 5 games in a row. And if he can do that and not make too many mistakes, limit turnovers, and just run the offense efficiently, I mean, this is as good of an opportunity as Sam will ever get to revitalize his career, to the point that if we had to make a bet on what quarterback had the better chance of genuinely becoming a starter in the NFL between Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield, I would say Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Absolutely has a
well,
better
because you know why you get to say that though is because that that Baker has lessened his chances since the beginning of the season. Right? Is that he's had a lot of opportunity and he's failed to capitalize on that. We can say the odds are in Sam Darnold's favor because he's yet to have his opportunity. So there's clearly an advantage at this point because he has 5 games or 4, whatever is it, 5 games, 4 games to prove himself.
Right.
All he's got to do, look, he's already halfway there. He got a damn win.
Yeah.
I
think he can do it. I think that, like I said, if we can limit what Sam has to do in the offense, limit turnovers, run the ball effectively, and look, he hit some good downfield shots. That big pass to DJ Moore and throwing it to the back of the end zone on the touchdown pass. So he can do it.
Well, look, we just made out the case that he has the best opportunity he's ever had. Offensive line, offensive weapons, coaching, everything, right? So can we officially say, or can we actually pin this on him after this 6 games, if he looks horrible, that he's a bust?
Yes.
Is that enough to call him a bust? Because we've just said he's had the best opportunity. He's got a chance to go to the playoffs and win the division. He's got a good team behind him, a good offensive line, a great defense. I think that I'm not saying he has to win all the games and make the playoffs, but if he looks horrible, if he looks like last year's second half Sam Darnold,
well, you can't go.
You guys say he's a bust, right?
A bust, yeah. I mean, yeah.
I would
guess
say
so.
bust. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
first round pick, can't play, not starting in the NFL.
not just the first round, top 5, like number 2
Yeah,
overall.
good
Like
point.
that's
Yep.
the argument I would make in this situation is like if he comes in and he's not able to show any sense of like improvement whatsoever. Yeah, I mean I'm
Which
fine
I
with
felt
saying
like
bust
he
at that
did
point.
in his first game already show improvement. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
but a lot
Like,
of people
Yeah,
said that same thing about his performance last year with the first 3 games too, right?
Mhm.
So I'm not ready to put
Right.
that type of like
yeah, you're right. You're right.
you know,
I
it's
want him to work out, yeah.
this I need to see consistency. That was always his biggest thing in my opinion was consistency, and
Mhm.
he has been, you know, one of the I need to see this happen for consistent, you know, 2-3 games and go from there.
Right. Slowly start to build trust back up.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, I think this is you know, I don't know. It's like how much like I want to I feel like this is like Will saying going on the road, winning something like this would be really beneficial for the Carolina Panthers, but somehow the damn Bucks and the Saints, they almost did what I asked them to do, which is tie.
yeah.
17
damn near.
16.
They damn
Yeah.
near did.
Jeez,
I didn't even think about that.
Damn Tom Brady, man.
They so the problem is that at what point is that if the Panthers lose this week against the Seahawks, does that kind of make it out of reach because the Bucks won this past
If
week? You know,
I don't.
like
I think it would
like
be out
it's
of our hands. Like I don't think. I think if we lose to the Seahawks and we win out, we can
Right.
still
like
make
you
the
would have to
playoffs.
have
But
some
it's
shit
not
happen.
completely in our hands. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't say that we're out of it just because I don't trust Tampa to win out.
Sure.
That's
Like,
what I'm
that's
saying. You
not-
have to have
that-
somebody
yeah,
else
that's-
lose. Yeah.
That's not a
but
good
still,
football
like they would need to lose out.
I think if they lose 3 of 4 and we lose 1, I think me and CK were talking about this before the show. It's complicated. It's
We're
more
gonna need
complicated as
some
it gets closer
things
the
to
end.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's saying. All right.
Yeah,
That's all I got to say about the Seahawks game at this point. I'm sure I'll find some more stuff to talk about on the Friday free for all and throughout the week.
Yeah, well, we only have. Greg, do you want to jump in to this